All right. Hello, students. Good evening. It is exactly 8:35 p.m. on my clock, no? So that means no, we have to start our lesson for this evening. So before I start, no, I would like to welcome everybody, no? Hello and welcome again to our class. This is 3121 Intro to Philippine Criminal Justice System, and this is Miss Malaya teaching. So good evening, everybody. Hello, hello. How are you? How is everybody? Kumusta kayong lahat?
Okey lang, ma'am.
Okay
Kaya ma'am.
lang. So, yes, no, I believe, no, nga naka-relax jud sa pila ka adlaw nga rest day nato, no. So, I hope you had a very well-rested week, no, last week. So, before I start my lesson, please tell your other classmates nga mosulod na kasi we still have a lot to discuss for this evening. So, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate everybody because you have finished your third examinations no last Friday. So I am very proud of everybody no nga nakahuman jud mo sa inyong examinations. No? So congratulations sa katong wala naka-take, you will have the chance to take your third examinations kasabay ng finals natin. Okay? So, without further ado, no, let me share my first screen. So for this time, we're going to discuss two presentations kasi we were not able to meet last Monday kasi it was a holiday, no? So we have our week 8 to 9 kasi finally we are done with week 6 to 7. So for the week 8 to 9, no, we have our learning outcomes, no? So at the end of the unit, no, for letter A, we or the students no, are expected to understand how important other government agencies in partnership for effective CJS. And letter B, no, explain the following reasons and principles why we should empower our communities. So tapos na tayong mag-discuss sa four pillars ng CJS or the PCJS. Now we are going to discuss no, the fifth and the last pillar of the PCJS, which is the community. Now, for the community, okay, um, marami siyang um, under. Okay? So, ano ang essence ng community natin sa PCJS or sa Philippine Criminal Justice System? Okay? So, this is my first slide. We have here, no, let's first define democracy. Ibig sabihin, existence of effective democracy, no, it's the active participation of citizens in the process of government. Ibig sabihin, may say, may karapatan tayo, the community, the citizens will be involved. Everything related to the government, in relation to the government. So we have our rights, no, we are able to exercise our rights freely because we are in a democratic country, na, the Philippines. All of the people who are living under the Philippine archipelago. Okay, Miss Queen, sige lang, sige lang. Uh, I still have my recording. You can rewatch naman po, no? So study lang, no? If makaya makaya sa internet ang lesson ni Ma'am, so stay lang po. Okay? So we also have here, no, it's very important to participate no in the democracy. Okay? Kinahanglan, no, the community should participate in formulating laws kasi nga hindi natin malalaman kung ano yung need ng community if ano ang mabibigay natin na law or the correct laws if wala tayong community nga nagasulti kung sa ang need. Okay? So, ang lahat ng tao sa community should be able to be aware, no, to the laws that are being exercised, no. So kinakailangan, no, kinakailangan alam nila ang kanilang karapatang pantao para hindi sila matapakan ng ibang tao. But in line with this, all of those or all of the people here in the world, specifically here in the Philippines, kinakailangan that we must be able to exercise our individual rights but with limitations. Nanay mga boundaries. Hindi pwede palapason kasi maapakan natin yung ibang rights ng ibang tao. So community, okay. Now, after natin ma-rehabilitate at saka ma-reform si PDL, babalik at babalik siya sa kanyang natural habitat, which is the community. So our community, no, will be able to participate in a day-to-day political affairs, no, in the government, no. So ang community or ang tao sa community ang magbibigay ng boses, no, kung ano ang pwedeng magawa, mas ma-improve na gawain ni government, no. So when the community gets together and has one goal, they'll be able to be more powerful than the government, no. So we have here, no, under community, excuse me, is the development of our NGO or the non-governmental organizations and the people's organizations. So they contributed a lot, like the awareness, participation of the people in the government, no. So that there will be an effective delivery or deliverance of the government services. So, yung ating community, no? So, historically, most countries, they only have three pillars like law enforcement, court, and corrections. Law enforcement, prosecution, court, corrections, no? Four to three ang ilahang pillars. But in the Philippines, we have five kasi we included the community kasi how would the what we call the PDL, no, what's the anong magagawa ng community, no, when the PDL goes back to the community. So it's very important that our community is based on the concept of accepting those PDLs back, no. So hindi magiging successful ang rehabilitation and reformation ng PDL if wala siya gitarong ungdawat ng community kasi one factor is matatakot kasi baka ah, mahadlok sila nga makaistorya or mo employ kasi nga they are once a convicted person, no, so matatakot sila. But as a community, we are the community, the citizens in the free society, the community itself, no, should be able to accept them back kasi nga we need to trust them. But also, kinahanglan po si PDL, maningkamot po siya og ginatawag og workout sa iyang self, no? Para maging kuan po siya, mahimo siyang trusted person. Okay? So, it's the very sikat, no, nga nahitabo sa community is the phenomenon of the people power or the EDSA revolution. No? So, we were in perceived by the government as a totalitarian government. But hindi ko matuo nga totalitarian. No? In my own perspective, kasi yung EDSA revolution, di ba, that ousted the Marcoses, no? The Marcos regime, the dictatorial daw nga Marcos regime. But in fact, nung naapa ang mga Marcoses, no, si late President Ferdinand E. Marcos, he was the one who stopped the NPAs. No? So, atong iyahapang panahon, wala jud nakusgan ang mga NPA ato. Pagpuli sa katong isa ka president nato, which was the late President Cory Aquino, no, mas nikusgan na hinuon ang CPP NPA. That was the wrong move, no, sa community. But I believe that history is history. We cannot change it anymore, but we can learn from it. So we know that community is very powerful. So when the community acts one action or has one goal, it's very powerful that it can uplift or change the government. But if yung ating community natin, no, is weak, then we will not reach out some voices. No? We cannot address our voices. No? But if you wanted to reach, if you wanted to be heard, no, sa ato ang mga hinaing, we must not do it in a wrong way. Like the CPP and PA. Okay? So, they are uh, what we call as terrorists. No? So, gusto nila nga madunggan sila sa gobyerno nga walaon ang gobyerno. But yes, naatay rights nga masuko sa government, naatay rights ana we are free to exercise our freedom nga atong isulti atong gusto isulti, but sulti lang ta kutob, not armed nga mga binuhatan, no? Kasi that's very bad, no? It is under terrorism. So dapat si community, um, naa siya limitations, okay, kagaya ng nangyari sa people power. There were no bloodshed, but um, the community is a big help, no, when we want to prevent crime, no? Kasi nandiyan yan sa sisimula, di ba? Sinabi ko sa inyo that criminal tendencies, di ba? So paano ba natin maa-acquire ang pagiging isang kriminal? But one of which the factors is the environment we're living in. So if that environment we're living in is very toxic, is very bad influence, no, or the people living in are bad influence, there's a big possibility nga matakdan jud ka even though you are not a born criminal or dili jud ka criminal in nature, no? So one of which nga makatabang is pinaka basic is the leaders nato. Puro chairman, barangay captain, barangay chairman, pwede din si mayor and LGUs. So that's the end of free 121 Intro to Philippine Criminal Justice System, and this is Miss Malaya teaching. This is for the part 1. So for now, I will go to part 2. Is everybody still with me? Andito pa ba kayong lahat?
Ma'am.
Okay, very good. So, permission to proceed, no? So, I'll be presenting the week 8 to 9, but this is the part 2. So, in continuation, kinakailangan, there should be a mutual cooperation, no, between the public and the law enforcement, no, when we're trying to constitute, no, the first line of defense, which is the peace and order. Kasi nga, if ating community is, or ang ating law enforcement officers ay malayo ang loob sa community, wala na'y mahatag nga informations si community kay police kasi natatakot sila. So, kinakailangan, if si police, usually jud na dapat magpakita na siya in the community para magini ang trust ni public. Okay? So, yung ating kapulisan naman should never be able to use their stand in life or their status in life, no? Nga pulis sila, uniform sila, no? So they need to be on the ground, their foot on the ground, 2 foot on the ground. Kasi nga it's very important to be able to communicate freely with the community, no? Kasi yung mga tinatawag natin na mga tambay, mga vendors sa daplin-daplin, no? They're the ones who are giving much information than intels, no? Kasi sila yung nandun eh. Alam nila yung kalakaran. No? So usually sila yung makukuhanan natin ng information in which we can use it to help the community to prevent some crimes. No, it's one of which nga we can formulate policies, no, and implement those policies. So community is a part of the CJS. So it's an informal pillar, but it's a part of the CJS, PCJS. No, so it's very important, no, that the participation of both the government and the law enforcement and the community should be in line, no? So sa lahat ng sinasabi ko, first and foremost, si Purok Chairman, no? If there are problems in the Purok, no, na mga drug addicts sa iyang Purok, no, he can report it to the barangay captain or barangay chairman. Then si barangay chairman, barangay captain mag-report kay LG o kay mayor. And then the mayor will try to do something, no? Report sa PNP kay para masolusyonan ang problema sa community para dili na siya mulala. Okay? So, usually, natin ginatawag nga Police Public Relations or PCR, Police Community Relationship. So, si police officer, si law enforcement officer, nagapaningkamot na siya nga makik-interact sa community. So, makita ninyo, natin kapulisan in the area, it's because that's their work, no? Na, saan ba sila magpapa-implement ng peace and order? Di ba? Sa community. So, in which we are living in. Okay? So, we cannot accomplish something, no, if we are not talking to the community or we're not in a relationship, in a good relationship with the community. Kasi paano natin masosolve ang kriminalidad kung wala ta kabaloon sa gid ang root cause sa problems, di ba? So we need to have adequate contacts, no? Syempre, ani si mga police officer, na gini sila yung mga kaila, no nga. Nadira ang mga kumbaga ilan lang gibuhat og mga agent, no, mga intel nila, wala nilang information and all. So it's very important na tayong mga leads, no? And through interaction, no, violence can be prevented, no? For example, no, militant marches, no? So, if na mga rallies and demonstrations, which I believe you have a subject, no, on your higher years, no, you can encounter that. So, atong police officers will just have their police presence, but they're not going to use their gun, batuta, and such all those things, no. So always ang ginabuhat ni police officer when there are riots, rallies, demonstrations, or rallies and demonstrations, no, ginagawa nila, kinakausap nila si community leader to interact to those members. What if daghang kinag-rally, daghang kinag-demonstration? So, maguguluhan sila kung sino ang kakausapin nila, paano nila kakausapin. So, usually ang ginagawa, ang kinakausap lang is ang leader. Para yung leader na ang magsasabi sa kanyang subordinates. Okay? So, yung ating community sa Philippines, no, we have this perspective in policing, no, which prioritizes the police, no, in handling crime prevention, delinquency, no. So they are trying to prevent crimes, no, kung bata pa lang, kung delinquente pa lang ang bata, no. So I believe then na po mo subject ani, no, juvenile delinquency. So yung mga delinquents natin, pwede pa silang ma-rehab in a younger year sa ilang life. So, it can prevent, no, potential violent crimes basi mo dako na siya nga criminal jud, no, ang bata. So, pwede pa mahilot gamay. So, the power of policing is the people and the policing is for the people. Okay? So, therefore, the people must be made partners in policing. Paano tayo makakagawa ng mga laws if it's not in line with the needs of the people? Di ba? So, kinakailangan gagawa tayo ng mga batas in line with the needs sa katauhan. Di tayo mabuhat og balaod nga walay pulos. Okay? If one day magiging isa kayong lawmaker, no, you'll be the part of the It's okay, Silver. You'll be a part of the legislative, which is the Congress or the senators, no? Maybe in the near future. You must make a law that benefits all of the people, no? So, if you want to help the community, no, if you want to empower the community, make laws for the community. Makamasa, kumbaga. Okay? So, we have here the irritants, no? One of the factors na hindi maging successful ang PCR or police community relationship or relations. Kasi nga, usually, yung ating, we have problems, no? On such areas like yung ating law enforcement officers nag-abuse ng kanilang authority. Some of them, no, lack of professional courtesy. Some of them are corrupt, no. Usually, isog-isog, hawd-hawd, patsop-atsop kasi police officer, no, naka-uniform. Hindi nila ginagawa ng mabuti ang kanilang duty pag nasa community sila, no, pa hawd-hawd, pakita-kita din sa barel. When in fact, that's wrong. When you are in the community, do not bring your gun kasi matatakot yan sila sa iyo, no? So, ibilin sa police car, no? So, be safe in the eyes of the community kasi pag once makakita yan ng baril ng mga tao, tapos kuan ka diha, tatakot yan sila sa iyo. And also, gamiton nimo yung pagka-police, no? Nga, on sinaning, aning, mga butang. No? So, di na siya pwede. So, professional courtesy, no? Di na ka mo respeto, no? Taas na kayo mong pananaw sa imuhang kaugalingon, no? And corruption, no? Mangutong na ka, and all those illicit things na dapat dili ginabuhat ni police officer. But now, we've integrated into reforming our police officers. Dili na ka basta-basta mahimong police if dili ka makapasar sa standards nga gipasa sa PILG. So, when we need to try to address these deficiencies. No, it may not be easy at all, but we need motivation and imagination. Okay? So when we try to motivate the police officers, okay, we need to have reasonable steps so that we can achieve our goal, which is to get the trust of the community. Okay? So we can formulate solutions, no, and um, maybe possible answers to those questions, no, in the community. So everybody should be treated equally. There should no be or there should not be any discrimination against the race, no, our religious beliefs, social class na sa kinabuhi, our economic status, no, our gender. No, so in other country in America, let us cite in America kasi it's very rampant to them, no, the racism, no, the Black lives. No? So they do not value the Black lives there in US kasi some of the police officers are very attentive to the color of the skin of those persons they are trying to arrest. So makita niyo some of the videos in the internet, kita ninyo pag black person gani criminal na silang mata. So it shouldn't be like that, no? Kasi we should all treat those people or those persons na we apprehended as innocent as much as possible kasi nga they are innocent beyond reasonable doubt. In the Philippines, it's not about the color of the skin. No? It's more of like the status, your status in the community. If you're from a well-known family, you'll be able to gather more attention from the police officer. Then they'll be able to treat you more productively than the others. So if you are in a not or in a not well-known family or ulay jud, pobre jud, all right, it's okay, Aaron. So you'll not be able to get those correct attention, correct judgment kasi nga dili ka na itagaan og pagpahalaga kasi nga ulay ka. Okay? So you are behind, no, the status that they wanted to entertain. Okay? So that's most of the problems right now, no. So when they entertain those mga dato, syempre makaginansagid sila kwarta-kwarta pero mga pobre ay sagdaan ra no dili tarungon og trato, but I hope on the next future, no, kamo mga police officer you treat everybody equally. So our police officer should be trusted as well as our protectors, no, and it should be that their structure of working is aligned to the vision of the PNP, no. So they need to be humble. They need to have their foot on the ground. Kasi nga, it's very important, no, nga, they do their job well. Kasi nga, pag dili nila na matarong og arrest, na mali sila og arrest, wala nila gisultian sa rights, then mabulilya sujud na ang case if ever man no nga na mga mishaps. Okay? So, it's very important, no? As long as legal advantage cannot be purchased and as long as unconventional or poorly dressed people receive equal legal treatment, the law and its enforcement officers, the police, the prosecutor, and judge will not appear as oppressors but rather protectors. So, the most important three factors or the three pillars, no, in the CJS are the law enforcement, prosecutor, and court. Kasi si law enforcement, once na hindi niya inarrest ng maayos, napataka lang siya aresto nga tao, okay, gidala niya kay prosecutor. Si prosecutor, wala niya gibana-bana ang evidence. Okay? Ug tarong, iyahalang ipasa kagihapon ng case, though wala tay probable nga mga bugat nga mga evidence. And then si court, wala po nag-decide og tarong. So, maybe there's a possibility nga katong imong gi-apprehend nga tao is wrong person of the specific crime. No, maybe gi-frame up and all. So, it's very important na dili to sila matawag nga oppressors, no, or naga-apis sa ato ang mga kuan or nagabutang sa mga mali na buhatonon, no, but rather protector kasi nga we need to protect each and everyone's lives. Okay, kahit nga nakakommit ka ng crime, di ba, ginaprotektahan gihapon ka. Okay? So, we have here the police power as an authority of government is a necessary component in the maintenance of law and order. So it's very important, no, ang ating kapulisan should have the authority to have to apply the maintenance of peace and order in the community. By doing PCR, police omnipresence, no? So there's nothing wrong with authority unless imuha nang gamiton para mag-corrupt or mag-dilute sa minds sa community. Okay? Is everything clear so far? Okay lang ba?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Ma'am,
So thank you for joining today's class. No, that's the end of K121 Intro to Philippine Criminal Justice System, and this is Miss Malaya teaching. So that's the end of our class. We just finished two presentations. No, for not less than 30 minutes, pala. No. So everybody, do you have any questions, clarifications, queries before I give my final instructions? Meron ba? Questions? Yes, Marchie? Marchie?
Kamusta ka magatagaw final ay katong special exam, ma'am?
Okay, for those students na hindi nakapag-take ng second at saka third exams, you will get your special examinations next week Friday. Okay? Para um, sabay na lang siya. So maybe I'll give my final examinations on Thursday next week para relax na mo. So ang Huna-una lang sa katong wala naka-take sa exams, tong second ug third, for the Friday na lang no ilang utok. And then, on Saturday next week, no, inyuhan na pong final exams. Yes, Manuelito, go ahead.
ma'am, about sa grouping na mo, ma'am. Dili ko
Mm-mm.
mangutana, ma'am.
Yes, wala pa man na group.
Sa grouping na mo, ma'am, pero dili man gud may buot tanan, ma'am. Nya dili may makadali-dalig buhat, ma'am, ba kay kulang mi. Dili man sila ma-add gud sa GC good.
Okay,
Di
sige.
gud sila mag
Sige, sino ang mga kagrupo man nyo? Sige, start tayo sa group ni Manuelito para ma-address ang concern. Sige. Tell your classmates kinsay mong kagrupo. Sige daw.
Pwede tanawon sa nako, ma'am.
Sige.
Alam ko sa
Sige. I will try to see on my koan for a while.
Pero ma'am, kaya ang uban dili active ang ilang account.
Okay.
Ganin
Sige.
ubad
Group
may mga ilang
5.
account mo, dili active.
Unsa kani siya nga code? Unsa kani siya nga code, students? 3805, no? Tama ba niya akong yun?
3805.
805.
Hindi siya mao. Okay. For a while, I will try to see your final requirements. Okay, nakita ko na. For a while, I will share my screen to another window para makita ninyong tanan. Yes, Beer, question? May tanong ka ba?
Sa ano na, ma'am?
Okay, sige. For a while, i-ano ko muna siya, i-set ko muna ha, kasi hindi pa na makita lahat. Alright, for your final requirements, you need to make a short video presentation that replicates the topic that I've given to you. So, your topic is for the Group 1 Law Enforcement, Group 2 Prosecution, Group 3 Court, Group 4 Corrections, and the Group 5 is the Community. So, anong gagawin nyo? You need to make a short video presentation. Okay? Ano yung video presentation ninyo? Mura mong nagbuot ng TikTok video ba nga? Ang endorse ninyo kay law enforcement, prosecutor, kung unsa ang na-assign sa inyo. So, 2-minute video lang na siya. So, pwede mo lapas kamay sa 2 minutes, tapos ayaw lang jud kayo siya taasa. No? So, ang importante, ma-feature ninyo, ma-highlight ninyo unsa ang importance sa katong na-assign nga CJS nga pillar sa inyo ha. Okay? So, na ako'y sample nga video, di ba, sa presentation, no, sa kato akong gihatag. So, pwede ra jud be creative, mura ra mong nag-advertisement, mura ra mong nagbuhat og TikTok video, pwede mo mag-voice over kung gusto ninyo, no? Pwede gani kamo ang mag-acting, depende sa inyo ha. Yes, Shello?
Ma'am, dili gud ma play tong sa video na imong gisend, ma'am.
Dili siya ma-play. Sige lang, basta kay ang important mo gud na kuan dito is kanang be creative lang jud, no? So sample lang man to siya. So isulti na lang nako kay para mas clear sa tanan, no, ang final requirements. So you still have many days to count, no, up until the passage of the final requirements. So, again, no, pwede ra gani kanang short video lang ninyo, i-create lang ninyo siya sa Reels, or kanang mura lang mong nagbuhat jud og kanang pang compilation nga video ay nga gina showcase ninyo ang CJS nga naka-assign sa inyo, ha. Okay? Sige, questions po. Do you have any questions?
Di ba 2 minutes naman to, ma'am?
Up po, 2 minutes. So, kinsa ang nakani si group 1, naka-add ni sa tanan ka groupmate nila? Naka-add na ni tanan?
Yes.
Alright, what about group 2? Okay, Diana. Sige lang, go ahead. What about group 2? Kinsa ang leader sa group 2? Okay, walang leader ang group 2. Where is Asna? Yes, Danica?
Ma'am, napindot ra po.
Okay, sige. So, for group 2, we have Asna, Astrande, Baraod, Batal, Bonmil, Kahatian, Canales, Cedron, Colaste, and Cordero. Sino ang leader ninyo? Sino ang leader ninyo, group 2? Remember, students, ha? Pag walang final requirements, that's 7.2, and you have 45 days to pass, no, and comply. Sino yung group 2? Wala diri, Daw?
Okay ng group 2, ma'am.
Okay pa pala. Very good. What about group 3?
Okay naman po pala.
Okay, what about group 4?
Ma'am.
Group
Kaya
5?
po, ma'am.
Yung sa group 5, sige daw. Kay Morg na ni Silikuan. Sino ang hindi ma-add dito? Manuelito, kinsay dili ma-add din niya?
Kuan ma'am, wait na ma'am.
Sige. Try
Daghan
to...
pa man gud may kulang ma'am.
Sige. Kay
Di
para
bali,
ma...
11 may kabuk po. 11 po may kabuk ma'am. Ang wala pa na add mga
Kuan man 10 man by group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
11 po ay
10 mo niya. 11 mo kabuok. Murag kamo lang yata ang kuan ni nalapas og 11. Isa ka buok. Okay? Sino pa ang hindi na-add? Mosquera, Ordiniza, Paderanga, Pagatpat, Pailado, Rabago, Sumando, Tangkawan, Urgel, and Orminita. Sino pa ang hindi na-add?
si Orgel ma'am, wala pa ma'am.
Okay, nandito ba si Yuki? Yuki, are you here? Yuki? Yuki? Ala, asa na ni si Yuki? Hello, student? Are you still with us or are you away? Okay, so please inform student Yuki na mag-approach for the group 5. So tell na lang, no, Mr. Manuelito sa GC nga i-add, magpa-add siya.
Ayan.
Okay, para ma-aware siya sa inyo. Sige, other concerns regarding all the topics and all the requirements that you want to ask? Concerns? Or Minita may nagpa-drop na siya. Ay, as in, or Minita? Sure mo? Di ba kato maning working? Yes, nagpaputol kog buhok kay kapoy manudlay. Charot. Yes.
Ma'am, classmate niya na sa first
Gapa
time,
kagsangot,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Pero sige,
Ay,
gapon
okay.
siya. Ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, na-broken ka, ma'am.
Wala pod. Kuan lang, kapoy lang jud siya manudlay, no. Hago kayo sa imo kay mag-duty niya.
Ma'am,
Kapoy
bagay
kay
si mo,
manudlay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Nigwapa kag samot,
Happy kag
ma'am.
lang.
Ay, okay. Ay, okay. Charot. Sige.
Ay, okay.
Ma'am, plus points.
Oh,
Plus
join si ma'am.
points ni ma'am.
Hoy, sunod ako mag-plus points pagpasa sa mga final requirements.
Ma'am.
Dugi na rin siya nag-absent. Ay, okay. Okay, sige.
Ma'am, pareha na to short hair.
Oh, pareha na to short hair, no, Miss Danica.
Pag sila ni ka, ma'am.
Dili man good kay.
Gwapa
Kapoy
ka
jud
diyan,
kay.
ma'am.
Dugay na kay to kung buhok wala naputlan. So, gipaputlan ako siya very, very short. Very, very light lang naman ang naputol, no. Sige, questions pa kasi uwi na tayo in a few minutes. Wala na questions?
Ma'am, si Vincent
None
po,
so
ma'am.
far,
Dili pa
ma'am.
siya updated, ma'am.
Si sino, Manuel?
Vincent po.
Vincent na, siya pingala, apelido.
Or Minita.
Arminita Vincent. Okay, sige lang.
O si
Yes.
RJ. Si
Okay.
RJ po. Kana
If
sila
in
duha, ma'am.
case dili na yun ninyo sila ma-communicate after kung mag-pass na mo, no? So just ayo lang sila i-appeal sa inyong names, no? Do not forget pala the names on your video presentation para makabalo si teacher, no, nga kanang kuan jud ba kamo tanan sa listahan is nag-cooperate mo para sa final requirements.
Apil man gyapon na sila sa mga ma'am, no?
Yes, appeal gihapon, but if dili ninyo ma-appeal lahang names, then 7.2 na sila sa kuha. Kasi I will check naman. Isa-isa na ko
i-appeal
nag-check.
pero kung sorry ma'am, kanang
Hmm. Sige, go ahead.
i-appeal gyapon namon sa listahan, ma'am. Okay ra na, ma'am. Appeal gyapon na sila, ma'am.
Kung nakik-cooperate sila, okay lang i-appeal. Pero kung wala gid sila nagpagkabana, ayaw lang jud kasi that's their call. No, nga wala sila nag-cooperate. So,
Okay po.
ang ako lang jud i-allow kanang mag-cooperate. So maningkamot jud ta nga mohatag ta gamay nga idea no sa ato ang group kasi since group final requirement man siya, mas easier ang task kay ma-divide man siya. So katong dili mo tabang, ayaw lang pud sila gapila. Kaya ako na bahala ato. Ayaw mo kaguol, no dili man kamo ma 7.2. So once makapasa na mo, so by virtue of effort, 100 jud na ako ang final requirements. Di man ta magkuan ana. Video siya. Kumbaga, mura mong nag-TikTok ba nga magstorya mo unsa ang naa sa CJS nga naka-assign sa inyo, ha? No? TikTok video ba?
Random
Yes.
po, ano. Sample, ma'am. Para mga kuha ulit idea, ma'am. Daon.
You
Mo
just,
may idea, ma'am ba?
okay. Try lang mo magtanong mga TikTok sa video ba nga kanang nag voice over unsa ang ilang ginabuhat everyday nila, everyday life nila. Ang atuwa lang i-explain na to unsa ang nasa law enforcement, nasa prosecution, sa court, sa correction, ana ba? Ana lang. Okay? Di daw ma-add si Yuki. Oh, i-add na ninyo na siya. Okay, nag-reply na si Yuki. Dili, okay naman na kanang mga video ko sa TikTok nga nagastorya-storya about sa ilang mga kuan. Kana, okay na siya. Mura mong nag-advertisement lang ba nga 2 minutes lang. Inyo lang ipakita dito unsa ang ginatrabaho sa law enforcement, sa prosecution, na lang. Pwede Bisaya, pwede English, no, depende sa inyo ha. No, pwede gani kamo ang kuan jud dito Yes, Marchi. Murag mga shampoo ana, advertisement. No,
Magsayaw, may ma'am?
depende sa inyong creativity. Marchi, go ahead,
Pero about
Marchi.
yapon sa among topic na gihatag nimo, ma'am. About sa topic na mong gihatag among ikaw perform, no?
Kadto siya.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Danica, it's okay. Sige, questions pa po kasi uwi na tayo.
Mura naman gyapon na siya kanang kung tayo ma'am no, na-pick tapos mag voice over lang mi ma'am.
Yes, pwede
Pwede
na
ra po
kaayo.
na,
Pwede
ma'am,
na
no?
jud kaayo. No, depende na gid sa iyong creativity. So be creative kay once in a lifetime naman mo. Hinaot unta nga dili na jud ta mag-retake ani nga subject no. So effort no, i-appreciate jud na sa ni teacher kung maningkamot jud no maging creative, no? Sige, questions dali kasi uwi na tayo. Wala na?
Ma'am, nag-attendance na, ma'am?
Yes, nag-attendance na ko diri Sa ako ang laptop, na ko yung attendance.
Ma'am, nako, ma'am. Wala ba kasulod si kuya, ma'am? Kaya po, ma'am. Tapos
Okay,
siya
sige,
kagusan.
sige. So, nag-attract man kog attendance
Iwa,
ko.
ma'am. Percent, ma'am.
Okay. Sige, everybody, if you do not have any questions, please try to open your camera so that we can take your photo documentation for this evening. Sige na, mga estudyante kong minamahal, ipakita ang mga gwapo, mga gwapa nga mga hulagway, be. Pag magkita ta ninyo, unsay sign nato, unsay code nato, ay okay. Okay? Ana ha? So if may
Udyo.
queries, questions, you can approach me. Ay okay. Ay, okay, ma'am. Kari 121, 8:30 to 9:30. Kailan na din ko sa inyo. No? I have many students, man God, so I cannot remember all at once. Sige. Ma-mixture na ta kay kabalo ko katugo na jud mong tanan. Let me just refresh. Parang na-off ang camera sa uban. Or is it just their
Ma'am,
internet?
naka-open ako.
Naka-open na. Sige, tama na di ay. Okay, sige. Everybody, show us your widest smiles. On 3, 2, 1, smile. Alright, everybody, thank you for attending this evening's class. I hope you'll learn something
Thank you,
from
ma'am.
me. I will see you again on Friday. Goodbye, babush palam, and keep safe,
Ma'am,
everybody.
di ba ako
Thank you,
nakuha
ma'am.
niya?
Ay, okay. Bye-bye.
Ay,
Good
ma'am.
night.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Sige po. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ay, okay!
Okay, kay ma'am.
Okay kayo. Bye-bye. I'm gonna end the call for everyone po.